Hi guys, welcome back to another Hugh video. In this video, I'm going to be cleaning up this vintage iBook G3 clamshell and getting it back into an operational state. Today, most laptops look alike, but back in the 90s, there was a craze of unique designs, the iBook being one of them. This one is covered in grime and has quite a lot of scratches. This could partly be a result of getting dumped at a recycling facility. It was saved by my mate John in the US. I purchased it from him and had it and Apple's first laptop, the Macintosh Portable, shipped over to me here in Australia. It arrived safely but isn't without issues. John stated he hadn't really tested it, but it wouldn't boot up, so it likely needs a new hard drive or an operating system. I've already got one of these iBooks in key lime, which I did a video on years ago, but I've always wanted one in this blueberry color. One thing I've always loved about Apple's 90s laptops is how versatile they are. Upgradability was high enough on the priority list that the design integrated a removable keyboard which provided access to some of those upgradable parts. Although it wasn't without flaws, especially on this iBook, which we'll get into later on. The first thing I need to do is confirm whether the hard drive is damaged or there's just another issue with the operating system. Upon plugging in and powering up the laptop, I was greeted with the blinking question mark indicating no operating system could be found. But this doesn't tell us that the hard drive is faulty, so I will insert a CD copy of macOS 9.2.1 to boot into. Like Linux, older versions of macOS allowed you to boot into the desktop off of the install CD, allowing you to test the computer without even having to install the system. The internal hard drive was showing up, so using Apple's own disk first aid utility, I could try and verify the disk. However, both the verify and repair functions stated they were unable to read from the disk. I wasn't sure whether it was formatted in something this utility couldn't read or if there was another issue with the drive, but you can see there are still files showing up on the desktop that are located on that drive. From the files on the drive, it looked like someone had tried deleting everything before getting rid of the laptop. So I'll erase the drive to respect their privacy, but also so I can reinstall macOS to see whether or not that works. Running first aid this time, you can see that everything appears to be okay. So I'm not sure whether something was corrupt or there was just an incompatibility with the format that the drive was in. I'm going to reinstall macOS to see whether or not this does reliably install and run off the integrated hard drive. Of course, I could replace the drive with something of larger capacity or even an SD card or compact flash card. The reason I don't want to do that is because you lose that nostalgic sound from the hard drive. It's something you can't replicate with flash storage or a modern hard drive. With the installation now complete, it's time to restart this laptop to see whether or not it actually boots up off of that original hard drive and runs reliably. Sure enough, we're greeted with a happy Mac before booting into macOS 9.2. With the OS up and running, I wanted to run a test on that internal hard drive, so I downloaded several programs, but they all had issues and didn't work, so I'm going to have to assume that it's okay. One question that always comes up is if I could get an old laptop on the net. A fellow YouTuber by the name of Action Retro created a website called frogfind.com, a search engine which is supposed to allow outdated computers to use the internet by displaying pages in their most basic form that these old machines can handle. Although I wasn't able to get the webpage to load by using Internet Explorer 5, so I downloaded Netscape 7 to try, but looking up the website I received the same error. Whilst I was connected over Wi-Fi, I did try Ethernet, but received the same results, so not sure if it's my router or something else is going on. It's now time to give this grotty laptop a much needed clean. Starting, I will remove this sticker residue using some Desolvit, a Australian-made adhesive remover that someone recommended to me. It works great, although I broke the spray trigger, but I'll make do. Using a plastic pick, I could scrape away all of that residue and wipe it up with some paper towel. Next, I used some isopropyl alcohol to wipe down the top casing. Although this really wasn't enough, there were still some scratches and marks that weren't coming off. I decided to try some of this Desolvit to remove them. I wasn't sure whether or not this was going to work, but I was actually surprised with my results. Using a cotton swab and applying some pressure, I was able to remove all the marks on the plastic at the top of the laptop. At the lower portion of this plastic piece, there was some more marks that I wanted to try and remove. I was able to get rid of some of the grime, but some of the deeper scratches were there permanently. So I'll just have to live with those, but this top panel is starting to look really nice. It's now time to see if I could get that rubber any better, so I'm going to try the same method. I proceeded with caution, as using the wrong cleaning product could damage the rubber. It looks as though it was perfect up until it was thrown out. After using the adhesive remover, I washed everything down with just some plain water to prevent the rubber from disintegrating as a result of using any products on it. While the rubber makes the laptop grippy and quite durable, the marks are unfortunately permanent. However, they become less noticeable after you clean the dirt off. The bottom is where we can see the most significant difference. It had turned frosty and had lots of minor marks on it. Starting with one side, you can see the difference and how much clearer it looks. Of course, when it dries it'll be slightly darker, but it's still quite a big improvement. I'll complete the other side and make it look as good as possible. Moving to the inside of the laptop, I can wipe it down using some alcohol. While it doesn't look dirty, you can see looking at the cleaning cloth that it was indeed. Looks can be deceiving, so it's always important to clean any used electronics you get a hold of. The last thing we need to do to the inside is wipe down this display panel, which had quite a lot of dust and grime on it, which came off really easily with the microfiber cloth. After dropping my cleaning solution everywhere, I can finish off the top lid and move across to the back to clean off the hinge. With that, our iBook G3 is looking absolutely spotless. Under the keyboard, this laptop is packing a 300 MHz PowerPC G3 processor and has been upgraded with the optional Wi-Fi card. That's right, Wi-Fi was not standard in the base model. If we remove it, we can gain access to the RAM access door, which is held down with 2 screws. It looks like whoever was in here last didn't install the RAM door correctly. After removing those 2 screws, we can see our 512 megabytes of RAM underneath, which is its maximum, in addition to the onboard 64 megabytes, which brings the system total to 576 megs of RAM. As you can see, the keyboard easily disconnects, so is a modular and easily replaceable part. Whilst we can see the hard drive and even touch the hard drive, we can't actually remove it without taking off the top case, display, and various other parts of this laptop, which is one of the many reasons I was hoping that the hard drive was still functioning, which luckily it is. Our RAM module is made by a company named Azen, which I have never heard of before, but it works, so I'll leave it in there. I'll reconnect up the keyboard cable, reinstall the RAM door cover, the airport card, and seal everything back down. I wish laptops still had this level of versatility today, and if you think this laptop is upgradable, you should see the PowerBook G3, which was released around the same time as Apple's Pro laptop, which had hot swappable drive bays, an upgradable CPU, and easier access to the hard drive. After putting the keyboard back on, our laptop is back in one piece. So this is it, the iBook G3 clamshell from 1999. With a fantastic design that came in a whole range of colours, this was one very fun laptop. With features like a built-in handle and easy access to a few of the upgradable parts, this makes this laptop something I would have loved to use if I was around in the 90s. As this laptop is passively cooled and has no fans, there is no dust built up inside, hence why I didn't have to pull it apart further to clean it. Later models shipped with Apple's FireWire port alongside the USB 1 port. There's something great about taking a look back into the past on an old computer like this. Overall, the laptop is looking immensely better than it did when I unboxed it. You can still see a few marks, but I'm happy with the device overall. And on that note, this has been a Hugh Jeffries video. If you like what you saw, hit that subscribe button and consider checking out the computer playlist for more videos just like this one. Also be sure to check out my new online store if you're looking to pick up some good deals on some used devices, link for which is down in the description. That's all for this video, and I'll catch you guys next time.